Every time you open your fridge in the morning, you touch a machine idea from the 1800s. Most things that keep your food safe, your car legal, and your body protected were designed before your grandparents were born. Your world feels new and digital, yet much of it still runs on quiet German engineering from another century. People often think real power comes from apps, Silicon Valley, and giant modern brands. Many see Germany as cars, fast trains, and heavy paperwork, nothing that could shape their own daily routine. Yet, under that routine, old German tricks still quietly run you. Look around. The fridge, the car, the pills in your cabinet, even this screen all quietly run on old German engineering. There in your kitchen, a fridge hums while you reach for cold milk or last night's food. That calm box exists because a Bavarian engineer, Carl von Linde, turned gas science into the first reliable cooling machines in the late 1800s. Back then, meat rotted fast, ice came from lakes, and hot summers spoiled beer and butter. Linde built systems that pushed the special fluid through coils, changed its pressure, and pulled heat out of the air. The same loop still runs inside compressor fridges today. People now see a fridge as an appliance with a logo on the door. They rarely picture an old professor staring at pressure charts. You enjoy safe food, quick cooking, and a kitchen that ignores the weather because that hidden German loop runs day and night. It greets you before you leave home. While you drive, your eyes drop for a moment to a glowing number near the wheel. That tiny check keeps you within limits and often safe from harm. A German engineer named Otto Schultz built the first steady way to show wheel speed in real time. In early cars, a spinning cable from the gearbox turned a drum and magnet inside the gauge. As the magnet pulled on a metal ring, a needle moved in an arc. Drivers no longer guessed from engine sound or wind. They could see speed clearly, even on strange roads. Police, judges, and road planners based rules on this tool. Your license, your wallet, and your life depend on this German trick whenever you drive. After a shower, wet hair clings to your neck and slows you down. A hairdryer in your hand turns that drip into warm air in minutes. Early in the 20th century, German makers like AEG and salon inventors built some of the first electric dryers you could hold safely. Those early machines needed real care and design. A heater and a fan sat close to water and skin. Handles had to stay cool. Shells could not melt. Motors had to run many cycles without failure. The layout they chose, with air pulled in at the back and pushed across hot coils, still guides most dryers you see today. Many people treat this tool as a cheap gadget from any store. They blame it when it burns out and forget it the next day. Yet when power fails, you feel what it gave you. Cold mornings stretch longer and work or school feels harder to reach on time. This small stream of warm air shows how old German care turns tricky science into quiet control in your day. Out in bright sun, warm sunlight feels kind on your skin. Hidden inside that light, rays slowly damage cells you cannot see. When you squeeze sunscreen from a tube and spread a thin layer, you rely on chemistry that grew in European labs, many of them in Germany. Researchers there studied how different parts of light hurt skin. They mixed oils and powders, then shone measured beams through glass to see what blocked the worst rays. Their work turned old home cures into creams with clear levels of protection. Shoppers often see sunscreen as a simple beach item from any brand. They may think of smell and texture, not careful tests with lamps and samples. Yet, that film on your arms lets you swim, hike, and work outside longer with lower long-term risk. Health groups then set rules for labels like SPF, so a number on one bottle meant roughly the same thing in many places. Hidden in your bathroom cabinet, another small shield waits in a tiny hard shell. A medicine capsule looks simple in your hand, but its form came from careful work in German plus Central European drug labs. Before this form spread, people drank bitter liquids, mixed loose powders, or chewed rough tablets. Doses varied, bottles spoiled, and children often refused what they needed. Chemists molded gelatin into two halves that could snap together, then built machines to fill each half with the same amount of powder. Most patients now see capsules as a basic part of any pill box. They read brand names and colors, not the craft that keeps air and light away from fragile drugs. Yet your trust when you hand a capsule to a parent or child rests on that hidden standard. Hospitals and regulators later wrote dosing plans, storage rules, and safety tests around this tiny container. When you tip one into your mouth and drink a sip of water, you follow a path drawn decades ago in quiet German workshops. And that same wish to guard the weakest shows up again in the next seat you buckle into your car. Behind your front seats, a padded shell waits for its most precious passenger. A child's safety seat looks like fabric and plastic. Yet it grew from years of crash tests led by car makers and safety labs in places like Germany. Road travel once ignored small bodies almost completely. Children sat on laps or loose on benches, and even adult belts were rare. German engineers built test tracks, made child-sized dummies, and slammed cars into barriers to see exactly what happened in those moments. Their data shaped deep side wings, firm harness points, and metal anchors such as ISO fix. Parents today may sigh when they fight with straps and clips. They might see the seat only as one more rule to follow. Still, every click that pulls a harness tight cuts the chances of disaster in a sudden stop. Laws and standards in many countries now copy that research. When you hear the final buckle snap and feel a bit more calm, you share the same safety habit that runs through many other German tools in your day. Along many edges in your life, soft rubber sits between hard parts. A gasket seals your fridge door, keeps your washing machine from flooding, and helps your car door close with a soft thud. These quiet rings became normal only after heavy German industry pushed them into most joints that had to hold heat or pressure. Long ago, factories lost steam, oil, and water through loose flanges and bolts. Each leak wasted money and sometimes hurt workers. Engineers carved grooves into metal faces and fitted shaped rings of rubber inside them. With better seals, boilers could run hotter, pumps could push harder, and later home machines could move water indoors without fear. Most owners do not think about these parts until something goes wrong. They grumble when a fridge leaks or a window whines in the wind, but they rarely praise the years of silence before that. Your sense that doors close solidly and pipes behave is one more gift from old German plant floors, and the same love of tight control now hides inside the small box that counts every drop of water you use. Down in a basement corner or under a metal lid in the street, a water meter ticks away unseen. Numbers climb as each liter flows toward your taps and shower. German utility engineers helped shape meters that stayed accurate for years and were hard to trick. Older designs jammed, read too low or high, or could be fooled with magnets and secret side pipes. Newer meters used better inner channels, tougher cases, and careful factory checks. Later, digital parts added logs, so sudden spikes or drops could be spotted. Most people meet these devices only through a bill. They may sigh at the total and move on, yet fair counting lets you pay for what you use and helps cities find leaks and plan pipes. When you open an app or read a usage chart, you see a modern screen on top of a long German habit of precise, quiet measurement. Across many homes in Europe, walls look smooth and calm under a coat of paint. Wood chip wallpaper often hides beneath that color. Hugo Effort, a German maker, mixed paper with tiny wood chips to create a thick roll that could cover cracks and rough patches. Before this layer spread, fixing damaged plaster took time, money, and skill. With Raufoss, builders could paste, paint, and move on. Tenants gained walls that forgave bumps and nails. When you lean back on a flat, speckled surface, you rest against an old German trick. That desk under your elbow might have started life as a pile of sawdust shaped by a German habit of wasting nothing. Particle board turned sawdust and small wood pieces into solid panels pressed with glue and heat. Max Himmelheber, a German engineer, helped develop this material in the mid-20th century so mills could use waste instead of burning it. Solid wood furniture once needed big trees and cost a lot. By compressing scraps into sheets, factories could cut and drill cheap boards for shelves, cupboards, and desks. Many people think of flat pack furniture as a Swedish idea, not a German answer to scarcity. Yet every time you build a budget bookcase, you hold panels born from that older push to waste nothing. At a lab bench, a small clear dish with a loose lid looks too simple to matter. Julius Richard Petrie, a German microbiologist who worked with Robert Koch, used this shape to grow and study tiny life. The flat base held a gel where bacteria could spread into clear colonies. The lid kept dust and stray spores away while air still slipped inside. Before this, labs used many jars and bowls, and results often clashed. Petrie's neat dish turned microbe work into a repeatable craft. You rarely see it, yet it sits behind vaccines, antibiotics, and clean hospital practice today. Your safer food also depends on those quiet circles everywhere. Deep in a small clock, a tight metal spiral holds more strength than it seems. This coiled mainspring lets a wound key store energy and release it slowly through gears. German, alongside Central European clockmakers, spent years improving these springs so they would not snap or weaken. They tested steel mixes, heat treatment, and winding shapes again and again. Many people now read time from phones and screens. They notice springs only in toys or old watches. Yet for more than a century, trains, shifts, and school days followed mainsprings inside boxes on walls and in pockets. That patient focus on hidden parts later shaped how German engineers built bigger machines for your daily life, machines where the moving pieces stayed unseen but completely trusted. Those bigger, hidden machines show themselves clearly inside tall buildings. In a narrow shaft, a small room slides up and down all day. An elevator turns stacked floors into useful space. German companies such as Siemens spent years refining electric motors and controls that could lift people smoothly and stop them gently. Early lifts felt slow, rough, and unsafe. Better motors, brakes, and cables turned fear into trust. Office towers, hotels, and high-rise homes now depend on this calm box. When your stomach dips as the car moves, you ride on that same old German promise that once lived inside a tiny clock spring. Far from the glass towers, giant cranes move steel boxes in steady arcs. These shipping containers slide from ship to train to truck because they share the same key size and fittings. German and European standards groups helped fix detailed rules, lengths, corner castings, and strength limits. Before this system, ports loaded sacks and crates by hand. Goods broke and went missing. With standard boxes, cranes grab any unit the same way, and ships can be packed like careful puzzles. Most shoppers never think about this metal shell when they tap Buy Now, yet low prices and full shelves still depend on that strict geometry and on a mindset that loves clear rules. Today, the phone in your hand carries more power than old labs once dreamed of. But who first taught a machine to remember instructions and run them by itself? In the early 1940s, a German engineer named Konrad Zuse built one of the first programmable calculating machines, the Z3, in a Berlin room. His machine read punched tape, used binary logic, and could follow stored steps by itself. Many later computers came from other places, yet they reused the same basic idea. Every tap, swipe, and stream in your day still rests on that early German plan. Your routine still rests on that first idea. When you step back from these 15 ideas, a single habit appears in story after story. German engineers tried to build things so reliable that people could forget who made them. They turned hard science into simple shapes: a cold loop, a clear gauge, a tight spring, a safe seat, a sealed shell, a flat board, a small box that just works. Across homes, roads, clinics, and offices, their inventions slid from strange new gadgets into quiet background. You only notice a fridge, a meter, or a lift when it fails, because for years it just worked. That disappearance into normal life was the goal. In a world that now loves fast updates and short product lives, this older style looks slow, even stubborn. Yet it is the reason your food lasts, your child rides safer, your wall forgives damage, your screen can run code all day. Each trick was built as a long promise to strangers in the future. The core idea is simple. Build for the long term, not for noise. Test until failure is rare. Accept that if you do this well, people may never say your name, but they will trust your work every day. Next time you open a door, write a lift, or press a key, pause. Notice how these German tricks still work.